This is the Rays of Light tutorial, and we are going to learn today how to make artificial rays of light. Those photographs that everybody likes where the sun is breaking through the clouds or the sunlight's breaking through the trees. They're a lot of fun to look at. They look great, but they're a little hard to shoot. And in Photoshop, we can actually recreate that effect. And I have here a landscape that I took in Cherokee Park. You can use this. This is available for you to download, or you can use one of your own images. If you use one of your own images, make sure that it has areas of light next to areas of darkness so we can actually have a place where we see those rays of light shining through. So we're going to make those artificial rays of light. The first thing we're going to do is step 1 of the tutorial says open a photo you'd like to edit. We've done that. Step 2 is to go ahead and duplicate the layer. We can Command J, or we can drag the layer down to the new layer icon. Either way gets us a duplicate. Now we're going to find the primary light source in this photograph, and there is a typo here on step 3, so watch as I do this. Okay, step 3 has us go Image, Adjustment, Levels. And it says to drag the middle input slider, that's this one right here, the gray point on the histogram, all the way to the left. Well, if you do that, you end up with just an overwashed photograph. We're going to drag it all the way to the right, but not quite all the way. If you go all the way, you pretty much wipe out all of your extreme grays. I want to give myself a little bit of light, so I'm going to bring it to about 0.22 or about 20% away from the whitest white. And what this does is everything from this point over becomes a pure black pixel, and then everything from this point above it or to the right of it remains the same color. So here we've got this layer that's now showing us where our primary light sources are on this image, and that was created from this layer. So moving on to step 4, we're going to do a radial blur. And that's under Filter, under Blur, and it's under Radial Blur, and there it is. And the Radial Blur will come up by default in Spin. We're going to change that to Zoom, so it's going to make a different kind of blur for us. We're going to set its amount to 100, and we're going to make it the best quality. Now, looking at my photo, my light source is here, so I want my blur to feel like or seem like or my light rays to seem like they're coming from here. So I'm going to position this crosshair right here about where the light source is coming from. If my light source were coming from, say, up here in the corner, I would position it up there in that corner. If it were coming from this far corner, I would position it from that far corner. But in this particular image, it seems to be coming from the center, so I will go ahead and I will position my crosshairs right around here on the image. Okay, as soon as I do that, I'm going to go just a little high because I want these rays of light to look like they're streaming down this way. So I'm going to click OK, and it's going to go ahead and make that blur for me. And the instructions say to go ahead and do this step 2 more times. And all you have to do is go Filter, Radial Blur, and it'll make it a little longer. Filter, Radial Blur, it'll make it a little longer still. And these are going to become our streaks of light. Step 8 talks about any visible speckles. Okay, and I don't see any, so I'm going to skip over step 8. I don't have any speckles. Okay, to see this shine through, I'm on now on, that was step 5, I'm sorry, that talked about speckles. I'm on step 6. So I'm going to change this layer's mode to screen. And our rays of light seem to disappear, but they're not gone. We've got them. They're still there. Okay, we're going to adjust the levels again on this layer. And I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments. I'm going to go to Levels. And this time we are going to drag the input slider all the way to the left. Not quite. You guys can eye this off as to how much of this effect you want. I want about that much right there. So I put mine at about 1.85. Okay. And I'm going to add now, I'm on step 8, I'm going to add a layer mask, and I'm going to paint some black on the areas where I do not want these rays of light to shine, to show through. Because like these trees right here would be creating a shadow if this were real sun. So I'm going to paint them as if they're in shadow. Okay. So these rays of light will be bursting through these little open areas in the forest here. And this is why you really need to have, if for example, this image were all sky, you wouldn't see the rays of light because you wouldn't see them for the sky. This is why you need to have an image that has light areas next to some dark areas. Okay, so I think that's pretty appropriate. And if I look real quick, this is what that layer now looks like. So I've got these rays of light going on, and I'm going to go ahead. That was step 9, to erase out parts that where we don't need them, where they will be in shadow. We're going to turn this light white. So I'm going to go image. I'm going to go image, adjustments. Oops, got to be on the right layer. There we go. Coming off of the thumbnail for the layer mask onto the thumbnail for the layer. So I'm going to go image, adjustments. I'm going to go to hue saturation. And I'm going to drop the saturation down of that layer, and that will turn all the light white. So suddenly we have white light now. Okay. Might go back and tweak on my layer mask just a little bit. And that's it. We have created a fake rays of light effect. So that's your tutorial for this week. Hopefully you've got a good landscape you can do this to, and you know what I mean by looking for areas with light next to the dark.